What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason, Joe, and Crams are here. 1982 week. Joe has given his albums and songs. I've given my albums, and now it is my turn to give you my 25 favorite songs of 1982. So here we go. I've got a bit of a weird list. I've got some hits, some 80s classics, some weird album deep cuts, and stuff that was in my top 25 albums and stuff from outside of it. Number 25, I've got No Electrons by Spoons. An awesome synth pop tune. But the thing I really love about it is all the electric guitars on it. There's this really like almost jangly kind of arpeggiated guitar part that the synths dance around. And then you've got this really cool, heavier kind of riff part in the chorus, which I think might be like the same interval as like the YYZ interval. So those Canadians are really into that in the early 80s. But all those guitars give some nice muscle to this kind of synthy tune. Number 24 is a band that I don't think anyone has mentioned yet this week, and I've got It's Raining Again by Supertramp. This song has been popping into my head periodically pretty much every time it rains since Supertramp week, which has now over 2 years ago when Joe and I did that. And I cannot shake that hook. I just think it is so damn catchy. Number 23, I've got Purple and Blonde by Terry and the Pirates. Terry and the Pirates are a band from the Bay Area featuring Terry Dolan, John Cipollina from Quicksilver Messenger Service. Nicky Hopkins plays keys with them. A lot of other people have kind of rotated through the band over the years. I first heard about this band from one of our commenters, Roxanne. She, I think, is really in love with one of their albums. I don't think it's the one from 82, but because she liked that record so much, I checked this one out on the deep dive, and it's a good record. I give it 3.5 stars, but there's some great moments on it, this being one of them. Just some great guitar work, really great soloing, really dramatic build-up. It feels like really completely live, the whole band swelling together. A little bit of kind of like 80s Dylan sound on there as well. Number 22, I've got Empty Garden by Elton John. His 82 record has one of the worst album covers of all time, Jump Up. But the record itself is not that bad. It's okay. Not great either, but it does have at least one great song on it, and it's this one. It's a beautiful tribute to his slain friend John Lennon. This tribute, I think, crushes McCartney's John Lennon tribute Here Today from the same year. I just think this is a gorgeous track, really heartfelt. Number 21, I've got Atlantic City by Bruce Springsteen. Just phenomenal songwriting, evidenced by the fact that I think every time I hear a different version of this song, I think it's fantastic. It's just such a good song, such good writing. The chorus is really strong. And in fact, I think the Springsteen version might only be maybe my third or fourth favorite version of this song. Number 20, I've got Senses Working Overtime by XTC. For a song that's one of the band's most well-known tracks, it has such an unusual construction to it. When it starts out, it's like this weird kind of acoustic-y, pastoral, folky thing, almost with some like Eastern European influence on it as well. And then the way it explodes into just like this pure pop bliss is really great. I love the line, all the world is biscuit shaped. It's all for me to feed my face. Number 19, I've got Angst in My Pants from Sparks, the title track from their 82 album. Lyrically, I think it's completely hilarious, but it's also super tuneful, really catchy. I love the way the vocals are mixed on this track. Russell sounding great. And it just has this like relentlessness and this restlessness to it. Just like all forward momentum, just really good driving album opener. Number 18, I have the song Curiosity by Shoes. Just a pure pop confection. The production is so well done. Some of the best acoustic sounds paired with great jangly electric guitars. You've got an array of different key and synth sounds just like briefly appearing and accenting different moments in the song. And the harmonies on it are so good. My number 17, if there is a more ridiculous song in 1982, I am not aware of it. I have Italian Girls by Hall & Oates. Just a really weird song, but it's so fun. It's so catchy. He sings, I eat so much pasta, basta. I'm so full and yet so lonely, but where are those Italian girls? Just so funny. Number 16, Reap the Wild Wind by Ultravox, an amazing sounding track. George Martin producing, Jeff Emerick engineering. And the use of synths, I think, is so far beyond what anyone else was doing at the time. And the way they switch to piano in the bridge section and kind of take the synthiness away for a minute, I think is a really smart move. It's a really good song, really well constructed, great production, all that stuff. Great track. Number 15, I've got Act a Fool by Dolly Parton. Couldn't find a lot of good, very good country in 1982. A lot of mediocre records and less than mediocre production. Really terrible production trends in the early 80s in the country genre. And this Dolly record isn't entirely different from that, but this track in particular really stood out. I think she just sings the hell out of it. It might be the best vocal performance of the year, and it's got some great organ on it, some really soulful horn arrangement going on, some slap bass. It's pretty different from the rest of the record, and I think it's a really good track. Number 14, I've got one in common with Joe here. I've got And in Every Home by Elvis Costello. Elvis just goes full on Beatles, and with Jeff Emerick on board producing, you might as well. Maybe the best lyrical album of the year, probably. The arrangement here is so good, but the thing I like maybe the most about this track is Elvis's vocals. I think he's a really underrated singer. Number 13, I've got Dweller on the Threshold by Van Morrison. Great groove with these like really glassy 80s guitars. Van's doing his thing, and then you get these amazing horn parts and these female backing vocals coming in, just really warming everything up. Number 12, I've got Flying North by Thomas Dolby, a synthy electronic track that doesn't really feel like a lot of other synthy electronic tracks, especially at the time. It's really warm, really musical, kind of has a song first mindset, and that lead synth line is just amazing, soaring, magical. I think it's great. Number 11, I've got San Jacinto by Peter Gabriel. It's a song about the juxtaposition between Palm Springs and the Native Americans living on the other side of the San Jacinto Mountains. And just a really cool track. He's taking samples that he's gathered from various places and processing them through the Fairlight synth, and it just creates this really otherworldly sound. All right, top 10, I've got Windows by Missing Persons, just the perfect blending of new wave, art rock, hard rock, and pop. Simultaneously, they feel like alien invaders and also like street punks just coming crawling off the streets of LA. You got some insane drum fills on this from Terry Bozzio too. Some might say overplaying, but I just think it's badass. Number 9, I've got More Than This by Roxy Music. Sleek, sexy, really cool music for yuppies, but the best kind of music for yuppies. Sonically perfect, just absolutely gorgeous track for Ferry to croon his way over. Number 8, I've got Save It for Later by The Beat. Just absolutely irresistible track, built for maximum catchiness. Every part seems to be a hook unto itself. The tempo is perfect for getting people up and moving, just excellent. Number 7, I've got Love My Way by the Psychedelic Furs. Another incredible track. That marimba line is just a monster hook unto itself. So memorable. The synths are really cool and eerie sounding. You got Flo and Eddie on the backing vocals and Butler's incredible lead vocal performance. Those pounding drums. This song just has so many cool elements. Number 6, I've got You Got Lucky, Tom Petty. Great song. The synth sounds great. I think it's a really cool synth sound, especially for an artist that's like not a synth user normally, at least at this point. For a rock band to kind of dabble in that, it could be a little treacherous, but I think he pulls it off easily. And then you got that great Mike Campbell guitar solo, so unique. Sounds like the strings are falling off the guitar, just so cool. And I've heard people sort of say the lyrics aren't great to this, but I think it's just really, really cool, really confident, kind of kiss off to an X. Number 5, Got Space Age Love Song by Flock of Seagulls, just the ultimate 80s sound paired with those romantic lyrics. It's just really a vibe, and just an incredible use of delay all over this album. Really inventive and unique sound. And I think this predates The Edge really getting into using delays. I think I could be wrong, but I'm sure someone will correct me. But I don't think The Edge really gets into his signature kind of delay sounds until the following year with War. Number 4, I've got I'm Looking at You, But I'm Talking to Myself by Utopia. Todd going full blue-eyed soul mode on this one. Gives a heck of a vocal performance. This one was written with Doug Howard, who was briefly replacing Kazem Sultan in the band as Kazem left to pursue a solo career, but almost immediately returned. And Doug Howard never appeared on a Utopia record. Number 3, I have The Story of an Artist by Daniel Johnston. He's an interesting artist. I find most of his albums to be kind of tough listens, but in the middle of all of them, just these amazing tunes will pop out at you and just like rip your heart out. Pure and honest musical expression, just revealing his genius. This song is really powerful. Number 2, I've got 6 Months in a Leaky Boat by Split Enz. This was voted the 5th best New Zealand song ever in 2001. Can't imagine what the other ones were unless they were all written by the Finns. Just incredibly catchy song, amazing production. Hugh Padgham, again, was everywhere this year. Great songwriting using the leaky boat as a metaphor for Tim Finn's nervous breakdown. Number 1, though, is Almost With You by The Church. An absolutely perfect song. It's guitar pop, and I don't know exactly what genre it fits into besides that. It's not exactly power pop. It's not exactly jangle rock. It has kind of like the romantic melancholy of late 80s Cure stuff. It kind of sounds a little like early REM as well. But it's just a really unique track. It's got this guitar solo played on a nylon string guitar, which is unusual. I just think it's great. The way they layer the guitar tracks is so good and so creative and inventive and different for 1982. So there you go. My biggest recommendation of all those tracks, if you haven't heard it, is Italian Girls. Definitely go check that one out. But thanks for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. Leave a comment. Check out Patreon. It's down in the video description. All of our social media is there as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.